have it. Six of us there while they were preparing their and Dr. Don came, then went to the doctor there at the hospital, whose ambulance was right. And said, first he wrote and he said, we will replace this. We have to keep this, please. But I will replace it. I have my father send another one from England. Just please let me know the specifications in more detail. And he wrote back and said, what good is a stretcher? And the ambulance itself is out of commission. But the moment it returned from Meherabad's place and entered the gate of the hospital, it just really big wind. And as if it was so overwhelmed with the burden, the precious burden it carried. Anyway, he said, and none of the mechanics seem to know what's wrong with it. They tried. So unless we replace the machine or do something, the stretchers are not used to us. So we kept on. It's like the gong that was which I said. It really, 31st January 1969. In the mornings, the last time I rang that gong, a sort of a Tibetan-shaped gong that my brother had sent from England. He dealt with antiques and these kind of things that are unusual from some maybe it's a monastery, I don't know. And when it came, the Baba had it strike it, and he liked it very much. Beautiful sound, do it again. And it was so beautiful, the sound of that gong, with that gavel when I hit it, it was like waves, and I could see a duck sailing on it, the beautiful, and it resounded on and on and on. Endless, it seemed. The Baba said, very good. And then and that was, I think, January of 69 or December of 68 when it came. And he said, keep it. And when he wasn't well and had to be confined to his room, he said, that gong, to call the men over. You see, the men couldn't come freely with the women, and so he said, so to call the men, he said, you want me to stay in the room and not go to the Mandali Hall, but how will the men come? And then he said, he himself said the gong, that gong. So we hung that gong out, and whenever we'd ring it, when I just hit it with that gavel, I would see Eruch already walking over from that side of the caravan. He was told, drop whatever you're doing and run. And once he was running in one slipper, one sandal, and he would run. The last time they were called and I hit the gong was on 31st January, 16. And at about 10, 11, that's the last time it rang, because then the men were within 10. And we forgot, I used to forgot. After going to Pune for that unique, fantastic, fabulous darshan of his promised children, 95% of whom hadn't set eyes on Baba. So when we came back, we said, well, now we let down our hair, we'll just retire, close down things. At last we had time for our own feelings. So, each one was doing that. Each one was having Baba in their own memories, their own way. And I went by and said, here's the gramophone I used to play for Baba. And the books I was reading to Baba. A little bit like come on the veranda, oh, that gong. And I pick up the gavel and I hit the gong. And I thought somebody slapped me. It was the flattest sound I'd ever heard. This beautiful, reverberating gong gave it thud. Like when you slap your hand on a glass-top table. And this was so sensitive, so beautiful, that sound is indescribable. It died. That's all I could say. But that's the last time absurd, slaughtered, died. Then, some time later, when Peter Townsend was coming for a visit to be here, my brother sent a baby one. He didn't know the story. He didn't know anything what's happening here. He sent this little baby, which is on a frame. It's there in Meherabad, which is sort of a dinner gong, a Tibetan dinner gong. And then even that works for a minute. The echo, the resounding sound goes on and on. That is a baby sound. That just filled the Mandali Hall, just filled it whenever we used to play the first when it came. And Baba chose that. In the same way, Baba chose A. Hutchinson singing big in the beginning, not the one Chick Henderson that we had all along. But this A. Hutchinson also my brother sang, but it was Fred Marks who found it. You know, Fred Marks would go from shop to shop, and I said, I want another 75 per revolution, big in the beginning. And it's so, but see how Baba does it without our knowing it. Without, well, I would say violently, but without even telling us he's doing it. And when that record came, and again he heard that, A. Hutchinson, in the Mandali Hall. And then there was no time. I just put it by in my cupboard. You know, we're so busy with Baba after that. Who cares for gramophone record? And Baba had wanted it played by him when he dropped his phone. Again and again he had told Eruch, he had told me, Eruch had reminded me. And then at that time I mean, Brian, how would I find that other record was packed well somewhere, I don't even know where. This was him. This is the one he wanted. This is the one we played here. In the Samadhi, I played for a number of days, just by myself, in Baba's room, and with Mera and all that. So you see how perfectly he blends all the things. So that A. Hutchinson is the one that we now this goes well. Remind me to tell you also of yeah, no, the gramophone record was handy. Remind me of the camera that Baba had me have it handy, so that a few shots that Baba would take and not, okay? Anybody was sure? Flowers are so much reminders of Mera because of the association, her association with Baba, the way she would offer a flower to Baba, the way she would put so much of herself in it, the way she would make them do things that she wanted them to do for Baba, you know. And I've seen her coax a flower to become a little bigger, open up a little more, scold a little flower that wasn't doing exactly the thing she wanted the flower to do for Baba. And, you know, I try now, it doesn't work, and I look around and I hope nobody saw that. The Meherabad was like that even when Baba was physically with us, no matter what she offered Baba. Whatever she offered Baba was so different, because the way she prepared it, how she put of herself in it. It was amazing. A drink of water. I've again and again marveled at how much just a glass of water can affect a person. I mean, what is a glass of water? You just give a drink of water? No. But Baba, Mera, wasn't that. The way she prepared it, the way it was a divine romance with flowers or whatever she offered to Baba. So how much more it would be when she offers her whole heart and life to Baba. Okay, they heard you, but you got to do sometimes. she would hold a flower, even here in this room, with you all around. She would hold a flower like this. It was beautiful, and her beautiful beloved, then she would hold it like that. How lovely the rose would look in his hair, you know, and it just was. It was. It's like living something. See, even when she would talk of Baba's suffering, she was living it, you know. I mean, I could tell you about Baba's suffering, I could tell you what he went through, but when Mara spoke of that, you could feel she was going through it, she was living it. They were trying to make me put one rose for that doggy. This is the cheek I used to kiss. The left cheek. When I said the silence, this guy thought I was saying the silence is broken.
Anyhow, we do.
I recommend it. We get a lot of great tone. This is just about Yeah. देखा है क्या?
हाँ नीचे नो देखा
अंदर नीचे
अच्छा
Recording all your conversation. I'm listening to an कौन जो उनका यहाँ था I think near the station. Right now. Who goes there? Look at those two ones.
only at the Samadhi and Meherabad. They don't like this. You can take it out.
Do they ever like it?
Those are sitting.
Where is that?
हो गई नो कैन आई टेल यू बुढ़ी तो अभी होगी बट पहले से You have no right to be buddhi yet, yeah.
Down the hill.
Half my age, you are.
So why is it that you can do aerobics but you can't stand?
Because I do aerobics, that's why I can send it. This takes so much energy. I've seen them because we went into the cage room. What are their names?
Gulu and Jalu.
And how are they related to
Their father was with Baba, and Baba had given the father order to say Baba's name 100,000 times every day.
How many times have we been? Can I get them? She's keeping her eyes on me.
So is your daughter-in-law a pretty good daughter-in-law?
Nahi, Dara South, yes, South Indian.
Can she cook?
She can cook, but not Parsi.
Not enough sugar?
Huh?
Not enough sugar?
Not enough sugar. Why do we Parsis put a lot of sugar in our food?
So do you play chess?
Sometimes.
Are you good?
What are you trying to get?
I'm getting all the low down.
A pimple on my nose or something. Now the cash will not line up. That's good, is it? You don't have to carry it in your... Well, you don't have to show somebody you are taking the picture of that person and hold it sideways.
It's an...
See Baba sitting on this big Go ahead and the others.
Daughters.
Is that not too much?
Maybe a little too much.
Beloved, a little debonair sometimes.
I feel the same way with us.
Beloved,
Is this the back way?
I got a picture of it with Mani. No, Meherabad. I got a picture of you with Meherabad. Yes. Okay, smile. Thank you. What about Mani?
Scott and the Pigs. Behind the Rose.
Bio, Artemis and Katie. Huey's got it on video. Gotta get that.
You get that window fast!
But then something happened. The kalim shattered. No one knows why. Perhaps the bowls were too frail. Perhaps the light too intense. Perhaps Ein Sof was learning. After all, no one makes perfect the first time. And with the shattering of the bowls, the divine sparks flew everywhere, some rushing back to Ein Sof, and some falling, trapped in the broken shards to become our world and us. Now, though this is hard to believe, the perfect world is all around us, but broken into jagged pieces.
which happened daily in our daily life with Baba. Was, for instance, when we were having breakfast with him at the dining table. There's a window to the left of him, And every morning when he was having breakfast and we were around, a sunbird would come, a beautiful little bird with a long beak, and iridescent when it was flying, but at the same time still, because his wings were going so fast, it was still because he was protesting against this bird, which he didn't realize was his own reflection in the window pane. And she would get agitated, tick, 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 very excited, and then more of that, you know. And Baba said, look, and Mary said, oh, Baba, you know, just a very personal, intimate, family feeling. We were there together and watching this bird, trying to get in, or trying to pick out that bird. And Baba said, look at it. He thinks it's somebody else beside himself. It's his own image, it's his own thing that he's fighting. And that, I think, is something that brings home us, oh, wow, yeah, that's how we do. Wow. You know how Baba, we have seen him again and again. We realize it more while we look back at those years, that how he has initiated, inaugurated, I don't know what the word is, whatever is to happen, he would initiate it in a very tangible, material way. It would be there. The seed planted was seen by us. For instance, Baba has indicated how in the future, in years to come, don't let me scare you. It isn't happening this year, and please don't write and ask me if it's going to happen next year, because this is way ahead we're talking of, which we only speak of it, we don't know it. That the Samadhi, Baba Samadhi, will have a superstructure, a sort of what you might call an umbrella over it to protect it, and because everything will grow, everything will change, everything will be Baba. So all these things will take shape, but he has already provided by saying that it should have a superstructure in years to come. That is there. But therefore, our concept of it is that the whole Samadhi itself then becomes his Samadhi, his tomb. Not just when we step in and bow down onto the marble, onto the tomb itself, but the whole of it will be the Samadhi. Like, you know, so the time will come, we have said, when his lovers will bow at the threshold. Just at the threshold of the beloved, the threshold which comes in so many ghazals and songs, and there is the threshold. Then, years later, we see an indication of it in a film, where Baba tells those who are there at the time, in 1954, when Baba took his Western lovers on that occasion up the hill and standing by the Samadhi, and there were others, Easterners too, and Baba gestured, bow down at the threshold, and they each bowed down at the threshold without entering the Samadhi. Okay, that caused a bit of a stir, and I said, oh, I wish I hadn't, I don't mean now, no, please, who said that, Kitty? No, Kitty was explaining. Anyway, that all gone down. Then suddenly, 2 days ago, I got a box of pictures given to us women, full of photos for us to see. That was by Bill LePage. Bill LePage presented this box of beautiful photos, which he has used quite a few of them in his book, Turning the Key, a lovely book that has only just come out. Where's Sheila? So So in that I found a picture of that group which I've been talking about at the Samadhi, and Baba seated on the threshold. So Baba has declared it, as it were, that this is my seat. It's not just a threshold, it's a seat. So when you bow down before him, right? When he's at the seat. And this is, some of it is my son, but look at that. Just look at that. Please pass it quickly so that people can see. Baba seated on the Samadhi threshold. Of course, till we can come to the point where everywhere is Baba, nowhere is not Baba, we not only can limit our vision, we limit him and say, he's in there, But this whole area of it, and he shows us that by saying, look, this is my seat. Here I am seated on the thing. And I think that's very lovely. 54. Oh, it's the camera. I was wondering Wait a minute. With the picture, I would also like to show the picture of
We saw that movie last night where the men were gathered there.
Yeah. Oh, did you really? Yeah. And he did all that without letting us know what he was doing, He just silently did it. He always silently has done it. And which is why I repeatedly say his silence was not just that he did not utter a word. His silence was in so many ways, most of all in his giving, in his bountiful, generous giving. He has been silent. He silently gives. So I told Baba one day, I said, there we were at the table again. Meher was combing his hair. Baba was having a cup of tea. I was seated next to him with a radio and all little tidbits of news or joke, or I'd be prepared with that at breakfast time. So I know why God always comes in man form. He didn't pay much attention to what I was saying, but he did look up sort of quizzically, well, what's she up to now? And I said, I know. It's because if you were a woman, you would have told us everything. Being a man, you're not telling us. Though he did tell us about you all. And it's a very touching memory to think back and remember that. He said there again at the breakfast table. He said, my children will come from all over the world. They will come. You will see them. You will see them. Some will be gems. They'll be my gems. They'll come. That's why I call you all his promised children. But among them, we didn't know we would see a generation that, of course, we had not met or had any idea about, but that also there was the hippies, you understand. We were meeting a lot of them in 1969 in Pune at this unique Savast darshan that Baba said in 1969 he would give. But before that, now see, as I say, he initiates, he starts, he inaugurates, he begins, whatever word you like to use. But one morning, there was this girl who'd come all the way from Australia, by land and walking and hitchhiking and whatever you all understand that better than I do. So suddenly she appears at the Meherazad gate, and she has this huge instrument, a guitar with a case slung on her shoulder, and a tiny, small little cloth satchel with her worldly belongings. But the music was there. Bare feet, tall, lovely, young, and she's wearing the most extraordinary costume, sort of half Indian, half something. And so whoever went to the gate, I think Kaka, stunned and said, she said she's from Australia. And so immediately Francis was called. Australia, okay, push it on Francis. Yeah, here's an Aussie. But Gohar was here, Dr. Gohar was here. She used to come back and forth on her little bicycle. And she came pedaling as fast as she could. Mera. Baba was resting in his room. This was in 69, January I'm talking about. So, Mera. And you won't believe. You're not going to believe what I saw. Here's this, she's describing this phenomenon, this peculiar something, and her dress and this. And Mera's excited too. Now, Baba is resting in his room. Baba is at the time when he's not feeling so well. As I said, it's January. But only Mera could do that. So Mera went and knocks on the door. So Baba sends away one of the men, Mandali, who was with him, and he claps, which means, okay, open the door. And Mera goes in and tells him about this Western Mastani. This hippie, this girl, would come, from Australia now. Anyway, you must see her, Baba. And Baba was reluctant. Oh, but Baba, you won't mind her. She's just like a Western. She was like a Mastani, but she's Western. All right, said Baba, call her in. Of course, Baba meant to all along, you see. So when she went in, and she saw Baba. And Baba was reclining on the bed. He told her to come close. She didn't realize what this gesture meant. Mera said, her name was Mary Bennett. Mary, go. Baba wants calling you. So Baba put out his hand while he's reclining and caressed her cheek. And all he said was, I hope I remember the month right, come in May, which is when he was going to give darshan in Pune. And we were amazed. Baba remembered that whatever the month was the month the Australians would be coming to Pune. And then Mera said, because in the meantime, at first when she came, Mera took her to the dining room, fed her. Oh, we put so much on her plate. Mera put so much on her plate. Eat this, eat that, try this, try that. Here's a sweet, here's almond, this. And then stuffed a lot in her chin. For the road, you see. And then she sat out underneath the staircase on Mera's porch and sang to Mera, just like so many of you all have done since then. And so Mera again goes to Baba's room and says, Baba, you would like to hear us sing. She sings so. Oh, Baba says, really looks a bit, all right. So she goes into Baba's room again. She sits on a stool by the dressing table in there, and she sings a song, because she wasn't a Baba lover. She was only given a message by a Baba lover that as you're going there, please give this to Meher Baba. It was a poetry or something, a means of getting her to contact Kambiyan Ahmednagar. So she, what was I saying before that?
She sits down on a small stool and sings a song.
And she sang a song to Baba, Robert Bell? I don't remember. But a song that could have been written for Baba, honestly. It was just like written for Baba all those years ago. And Baba heard that. And then I ran to Eruch fast as I could around the cemetery. And I told him this fantastic thing that has happened in Meherazad. This extraordinary girl that's come here. And he said, take a picture. He sounded like he didn't know whether she was a spy or whatever. That's my thing. And I said, picture? I don't know what the camera. Yes, you must. You must take take a film of her. Film. Now I had this movie camera, but the magazine hadn't been put in. So I put that in. I also have a picture of her because I brought the camera too. I stood here by the door, by the Mandali Hall door, and took a picture of her coming with Mera down from there after seeing Mera, and Mera was waving, and she was coming. And I took a picture of her. And then I had no time to put it by properly. After that, Baba's health was worse. So I just pushed it in my cupboard, just like I'd done the Begin record, and this camera, and the movie camera. And it was Baba's doing, because after Baba dropped his body, he tells me, when Baba was resting here on the stretcher before we go in the ambulance, and I came and had a very personal moment by myself with Baba, and he comes in and he says, "Aren't you taking a picture? Where's your camera? Where's your movie camera?" And I thought he'd gone mad. How can he think of movie cameras at such a momentous moment, at this time? And he said, now is not the time to start thinking of ourselves. We've got to continue to do what Baba would want. Go, bring the camera. So I ran. He said, do you know how many there are who would want to be here at this time and cannot? So I went and got that camera, quickly took a few shots. I don't even remember what I did, how I did. But that camera was handy. The magazine was in there, the film was in there, and it was ready. Baba had left it ready for use. I couldn't have possibly remembered where the camera was, where the thing. I couldn't have done anything. We couldn't think. So I got that, and I did that. Then when Don Stevens came, my brother Arti came from England, Delia came, and then when Don Stevens came, and he was having a film taken inside the tomb, the crypt, where Baba was resting. For 7 days his body was visible, available for all to see. Beautiful. And so, when he did, I handed him this. I said, look, here's something that, you do what you like with it. You use this, and you do what you like. I forgot all about it. Then, when we were in Guru Prasad, the film developed film comes, and I don't want to see it. I can't, it was too early for me to view it. I'm sure, I can imagine what Mera must have felt like, but I can only tell you my own feeling. I didn't want it. But we were all gathered in Guru Prasad Hall, the screen was up, and I had to do my part. So I sat there, and I said, never mind, it'll be dark, I'll close my eyes. And then nobody will know I'm not seeing. So we all sat there, and who do you think? The film starts, and who do you think comes on the screen?
Mary Bennett.
And that breaks the whole thing. And I said, Baba said come in May, and here in May she is in Guru Prasad, even if it's on the screen. Oh, that was...
She was the she preceded, she was like the symbolic of the new age.
We've never met
people.
types, and yes, but she was there.
She was
Baba
there.
said, so what I'm trying to say is, Baba used to use this gesture, this word, for upholding, for obedience. That when he tells you to do something, when a word is uttered, it comes from the lips, that you must catch hold of it and not even let it fall to the ground. Never let his word fall. His word is said like the speed of light, but his word is said, hold it. So Baba upheld his word so that Mary would not have the misfortune to let it fall, because Mary was not awakened to Baba yet. Baba did it for her. He said, come in May. There she wasn't. Come to Guru Prasad in May. There she was. Here. Oh, we've all seen it? No. I just love it. I'm going to enlarge it. But I'll talk with you.
Yes.
Mani, tell them the story about the jigsaw puzzle. A child was very
Yeah.
naughty.
If you want me to talk, shall I also show them this picture can go around? This is the picture. I brought it out today to show Huey this picture of my uncle, my mother's sister's husband. My mother's sister, Dawla Masi, who adopted my eldest brother because he was my mother's first child, and she was too young to accept. You know, she would turn her face away, and she adopted him, and he then married a cousin, big Korshid, who was in the ashram for years and years with us. So anyway, this is because my uncle looks very much like Huey when he's old, of course. My uncle is old, he's a young guy, you see. So, the Dawla Masi. And here is me, and this was taken at Upasani Maharaj's place in Sakori. I was 2 years old, I guess, and so this can go around while I tell the other
Who
story.
took the picture, Mani?
Hmm?
You don't know who took the picture?
I don't took the picture, no.
Parney himself?
But I was told on my second birthday, by that time, of course, my mother had accepted Upasani Maharaj, Baba Jan. But Baba left for Meherabad, and that was the whole thing was changing. And Vishnu Master told me that Maharaj had me on his lap as a child and feeding me some sweet because it was my birthday. But I don't remember that naturally, so I never remembered what Maharaj looked like, except in his pictures. And in pictures, you can't tell how fair or dark a person is in the black and white pictures. That's the trouble, because Mera would always be a bit disturbed by the fact that someone would do a painting of Baba, make him look much darker than he is. His complexion was fairish, not darkish. Beautiful fair, not white like me, but beautiful fair. And so...
You Upasani Maharaj, you don't
Yeah,
remember
so I
seeing him.
didn't remember him. So when I was 11 years old, he came to Pune, Upasani Maharaj. He was at Sadashiv Patil's place in that hall, and people went to see him, have darshan. And my mother took me in a tonga. I must have been 9, 10, I don't remember. So 11 maybe. So she took me, so we went in a tonga, a horse carriage, to see Upasani Maharaj. He was in a big square room in the corner. It was in a room devoid of any furniture, anything, a big carpet only. He was in the corner, and he was sitting, squatting like that, like that. And he would just look up. So he looked up at me, and I just bowed down and left. And I was very surprised. I don't know why, because Brahmins are fair complexion. I was very surprised to see him fair, fair complexion. And so later, and he looked very much like my father at that age. So later when I saw a picture of Upasani Maharaj, and at that time my father wasn't well, and he had to be carried on a chair for a bath. So he only had covered here, and he looked very much like Upasani Maharaj. I realized when I saw a picture of Upasani Maharaj, I said, Memo, when was father's picture taken, this picture? She said, that's not him, that's Upasani Maharaj. Yes, Eruch wants me to say. Yeah, this is what I read in a magazine, and impressed all very much. here was a couple. It was in the West, and they had this little boy, and the mother had to go out, and Daddy said, will you be able to take care of John? Will you? Oh, she said, what's the big deal? I mean, really, you women always seem to think you're the only ones who can care for a child. And I mean, what? After all, what is it that children? No. You know how it is usually. So the child was left alone with Daddy. And Daddy was thinking up in his mind of all kinds of things to occupy the boy so thoroughly that he won't have time to in trouble. So he gave him. Yeah. So he gave him. There was a big map of the world in this big magazine, a sort of big play, and he cut it into all kinds of pieces, and said to the boy, "Now, put the world together. Now, go on now. That's good for you. It'll be educational." And he said, "That'll keep him occupied for hours." He came back in a few minutes. He said, "It's done." He had put it on the thing, and I stuck it with the tape. He said, "It's done." Father said, "How did you manage to do that?" And he said, "Easy, because the other side of the picture, there was a picture of a man." And he said, "I put the man together, and the world came together."
So when he comes as a man form, he puts the world together. And for us it is easy to put the world together also.
So even if in his room, when he sat on the bed as a seat, there was a clock on the wall. It's still there. And that same position is there. And Baba could easily see what the time was, but he would ask one of us, "What's the time? What's the time?" And we would all, all our heads, all wanting to be the first to tell him what the time was, you see. And we would say, 10 to 3, Baba. Half a minute, what's the time? A bit puzzled, Baba, we hadn't said it properly, we all looked. And then 9 to 3, Baba. Another minute, what's the time? 7 to 3, Baba. And then after a while, half of them only us answering, the other. And Baba said, no matter how many times I ask, say it with the same enthusiasm. He said, it's my habit. It's my reason. And I realize now, also another side of that, another aspect of that habit, is that he wouldn't be here physically to remind us. So because he has said it again and again and again, we remember some of the things. Ah yes, Baba said that. Baba said, remember me. Baba said, don't worry. Baba said, love me more. And many, many other things. It's because he has said that we remember. At some point had come, that's gone. That's happened at 75. You'll know. Not you don't know yet.
Didn't give any what you call importance to meditation once you come to him and all that sort of thing. If you have anything, please write it down so that it will be useful for my wife. I didn't know why. This is what I wrote to him.
Yeah. Meditation has to serve but one purpose: to steady the mind of the aspirant, to make him think less of his life, and eventually to make him forget totally his false existence. If, on the contrary, meditation were to remind one of his or herself, then the purpose of meditation is not at all served. One has to beware not to become attached to any form of meditation, for meditation would then become a ritual. Meher Baba has revealed to us who live with him that true meditation is to remember him constantly in all our everyday life and acts, whether we eat or drink, feast or fast, attend to nature's call or take a bath, whether we are busy in the office or with business or relaxing in bed, whether we are meditating at a place or making merry, resting or moving about, we should always, always think of him and have him always as our constant companion. There is no better meditation than this, for this is spontaneous meditation. There is no set time, place, posture, principle, or austerity for this meditation, where every breath is dedicated to his remembrance. Eventually, we totally forget ourselves and live in his grace alone. Blessed indeed is such a life.
Provokes the highest meditation. I mean, if someone loves someone, you can't stop thinking of that person. No matter how much they're told, don't you dare think of him, don't you, you know. You are those who are angry. I mean, the ones who have opposed Baba, what we call opposition, they've really thought of Baba. I think you think more of it. I mean, they've said it, confessed, we can't get him out of our mind. You know?
That's right. Meditating on him.
I was trying to create ways to remember Baba, and in my conversation with Rusty, I said, Rusty, do you have any ideas of how to remember Baba? And he gave me a whole litany of different ways that he thought of remembering Baba. So, I was trying yesterday to remember what those ideas were. I couldn't remember. I said, would you come and have dinner with me and we'll talk about Baba? So we had a short dinner, and before you knew it, our conversations diverted to entirely different people. He and I didn't talk about it. So this morning I was pondering, what did he suggest? Well, you see, of course, I have Rusty off in a distance this morning, and as soon as I saw him, I remembered Baba.
Mani, one time, this Baba lover in America